Hello and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. My name is PJ Widener and I'm with Pure Storage. We are partnering with CDO Magazine, MIT CDO IQ, and the International Society of Chief Data Officers in a series of interviews. Today, I have the distinct pleasure of talking with Wes Rhodes, VP of Technology and Transformation and Research and Development at Kroger. Wes is not only one of the world's leading executives at one of the world's largest grocery chains, but he's also a former employee of the NSA, the Department of Defense, and he helped start US Cybercom. So very excited to have the opportunity to spend some time. Wes, welcome to the interview.
Thank you. How are you doing?
Fantastic. We are so excited to hear your stories. I love, sitting down with you and understanding your experiences. And so, speaking of transformation, right? Speaking of Cybercom and what's going on in the world, we are fresh in the news about ransomware attacks, cybercrime. It's on the rise. It's going crazy. So, I'd love to just start off the conversation today and get your thoughts on what is happening. How are they accessing all of our companies? How are they accessing our gas pipelines? And what can we do about it?
Well, that's a good question. That certainly is in the news. So how are they doing it? Well, they're being very sly. They're very good technologists. So before we answer the how, let's talk a minute about how they're composed. These are businesses. They have PhDs that are on staff. They're using IT. They're using frameworks. They're using technologies. They're using repeatable processes. They're probably using agile programming techniques. What they're doing is understanding what the security systems are of their targets. They're researching them. They're looking at what software they have, what things they haven't done that they should have done, what investments they have not made. They're looking to see where there are lapses in their security systems, and then they exploit them. And then others have done the same. So they use typically the same exploitations, the same processes, the same things over and over again to go grab a number of them, number of companies to exploit. And they do it very, very quickly. So how are they doing that? They take lapses in human nature. I didn't cover up my passwords. I used simple ones. I didn't change them. I did some things that I knew I should do, and I just didn't do them. I didn't upgrade the software, apply the patches. I did some things like that to just not keep up with the maintenance.
Sure.
Or there were some flaws in the software, and I knew it. The vendor maybe didn't. I did some R&D myself, and I found these exploitations. I've invented some new techniques. Or I had some ways in by taking software that another employee had that I then infected, and I used that to then put in various windows inside their software in order to exploit it. But bottom line is, in some way, I'm getting in through some telecommunication system, through some program in some manner, and assuming somebody else's identity. And then voila, I start my crafty work to go get their data, hold that data in ransom, and get money for it. So it's all for money. It's all to do something.
We always hear the adage, follow the money, right? So, we talked a little bit previously about, what's happening, right? How they're able to get in here. And one of the things that you mentioned to me was they can do this with ease. They're getting into our systems, they're getting into our companies. And so talk a little bit about, how they're able to do that. Obviously we got to follow the money. And then the bigger question is, how can we stop this? Because this is getting out of control.
Well, so how can they get in with ease? Well, let's go to a simple example. I'm a medium-sized company. I have just so much to spend on security. They're rich. They've exploited millions from individuals or other companies, stolen bank accounts and so forth. They've got lots of money to put into new techniques, new technologies, tools, advanced R&D themselves. They've got the money to do the things that you can't do. And so they can pick your processes apart. So they're the ones that are actually in the driver's seat here. So how do they do that? They do that by just doing the things that you haven't done to protect yourself. So what you might see as an onerous process and just, oh man, this is just too much work for me to do. They depend on that, and then they exploit it. The way that they can get in is pretty easy. Whenever you add more and more IT, you add more and more devices to your system, you add more locations, you add more IoT devices, cameras, new sensors of any sort. I bought a new location. I've added different kinds of software that I'm integrating with. I bought a new grocery store. You name it, you're inheriting whatever they have done in the past. I have a third-party vendor that I'm now using to save money. You're now inheriting everything that they've done in the past. And these are just a lot of edges and places that they can just wiggle in. You inherited every security problem that they've got. And they just exploit that. They come in, they then get inside your system and then take over your security, take over your data. Then when we look at some of the things that are in the news today, of course, the pipeline issue that we had that got shut down. Just think about that situation for a moment. This is the same as if I have a petrochemical plant, I've got a polymers plant, you name it. What do? They want to take business systems that they have and become more efficient. So I want weather data, I want employee data, I want the product development data, demand data. I then start feeding that IT data from the business systems over to OT, the operational data. It's in the manufacturing systems. Well, that's an interface that wasn't there before. And so many times an attacker will come in through the IT system that they know how to exploit and then travel that through the interface to the OT manufacturing system. And now they can do things to the pipelines. They can do things to other manufacturing devices. And sometimes they can come directly into the SCADA systems themselves. So all these electronics have all got flaws from security systems or from the telecommunication systems. So that is the way they get in. It's a very porous environment. We haven't spent gobs of money because it's expensive to close out each one of them. And then over change, we open them up. Every change opens the attack surface.